What's going on, everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Unofficial Star Wars here, and in today's video we have the full breakdown on The Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7, Chapter 15, called The Believer. There are spoilers to The Mandalorian Season 2 in this video. That's pretty obvious, so click off now if you haven't seen the episode or Season 2 at all. It's been a great episode, so go watch that episode and come back to this. Anyway, I also should mention that I did not write out any type of script for this video. I just really wanted to get it out. It was an awesome episode. And yeah, I just really wanted to talk about it real quick and, point out a few key things that some may have missed. Starting with the graveyard of TIE fighters. It looks pretty cool. We see a junkyard and it's filled with TIE fighters and such there. I wonder really what happened there. It's being, clearly it's a recycle scrapyard there. But it also does appear to be a prison yard for some reasons. We see Mayfeld there and he is a prisoner. But before we see Mayfeld, we also see another type of crane that does appear to be made out of an AT-AT. And it's pretty cool to see that the New Republic, or that the Rebel Alliance, turned the AT-ATs into something useful and something interesting and something new that's useful. Just cool to see that, Moving on, we have Boba Fett. He got his armor refreshed, and I think that was pretty cool. And it's pretty funny to see Mayfeld holds a fear for Mando, mistaking him for him, and then seeing him, just a little funny. Anyway, they get his help, and they're just kind of getting the team back together. It seemed like it was nice to see him, and see that they're assembling a team. And I just want to point out, the whole effort that the Mandalorian is going through to rescue the child. Same goes for Cara Dune and Boba Fett and Fennis. It was pretty cool to see her in this episode too, actually. And Cara Dune and Fennis's little duo right there. It was pretty cool to see, I think. But yeah. Anyway, moving on, we get introduced to a new planet called Morak. It seems to be quite a bit like Takodana or Endor, with the trees and such. More leaning towards Takodana because it's more foresty and not really like a huge jungle type of thing almost. But yeah, anyway, moving on, I want to mention that the Mandalorian does keep his, his will and his word to not really removing his helmet when they have to hijack the juggernauts, and he has to, he keeps on the helmet for his purposes, and because he was adopted into the whole Mandalorian, religion and stuff. It's just cool to see that, I think, and yeah. But anyway, when they are driving, Mayfeld does mention some touchy subjects to the Mandalorian. We see he mentions Mandalore and Alderaan. Those are just touchy subjects within the entire Star Wars universe, especially during this time. I feel like it's just a touchy type of subject for people because, those were people's homes and many people lost someone or something. And yeah, Mayfeld, he doesn't really hold that same emotion, I guess you could say. But I felt like, the Mandalorian was about to, beat the crap out of the guy or something. But yeah, it was just interesting to see that, and that emotion with Star Wars overall has really been shown throughout this show overall. And this season, we take a deeper look into characters and people. They're people. They're not just characters. They really are like people. They have families or friends and things that have meaning and purpose to them, and I just think that's a really neat thing. I don't think it's really something that we've seen before. Star Wars movies have always just been action-packed, this after that. Where do we get a chance to see, that this stuff is real to these characters? It's real to them. It's not just, fun and games like it may be to us, and seeing the action. It is fun and games to see, all this action. Seeing Mando get up there on the tank and fighting off the pirates, that was pretty awesome too. It was just interesting to see them, that those guys were pretty much part of the Rebel Alliance, it looked like, almost, or something like that. It was interesting to see the Mandalorian, who's an advocate for the Rebel Alliance, I guess you could say, with his run-in with the other X-Wing pilots, the one being Dave Filoni, and knowing that Cara Dune is working with the Rebel Alliance, and he has to stop the Rebel Alliance almost, so he can rescue his kid, Grogu. It's just interesting to see him go undercover, and go undercover to that extent. It reminded me a bit of Starkiller in The Force Unleashed. It was pretty interesting to see, though, nonetheless. So was Cara Dune and Phoenix's, their little duo there. It was awesome. These are two characters, mind you, they've never met each other, they've never seen each other really, and they work together like it's nothing. It was awesome to see them in action as well, sniping and stuff. But anyway, moving on, we go. I'm just scrolling through my notes right here real quick. We get that annual showing of the Mandalorian's face, Din Djarin. That was pretty cool to see. Like we did in the first season, he took off his helmet, even if he wouldn't take it off even if it meant that he would die. All right. But he took it off, and IG-11 rescued him. And in this case, it's different, and it holds more meaning and purpose, almost. It's not just about him. It's about his kid. It's about Grogu. It's about Baby Yoda. Whatever you want to call the cute little green bean. He does it for him. He's not doing it for himself, to rescue himself or save himself, like we saw in the last season. Not that it was selfish in any way, but it's really interesting to see that. We learned that Mayfeld has a little more backstory as well, actually. And they add on to his character a little. He did serve in the Empire, like Cara Dune, actually. And it's interesting to see that these characters do have backstories, and that they hold emotion, much like we see with many of the stormtroopers and such. We're cheering them on when they were the only shipment that actually made it to the base. That was pretty interesting to say. Alright, that was pretty interesting to see there. They're not just stupid stormtroopers that miss every shot and then get whacked in the head by Boba Fett. They're like, it's like a thing, like, they're like actual people, okay? It was pretty cool to see. But when Din Djarin and Mayfeld sit down with the officer there, we hear a little tad bit about Operation Cinder. For you Star Wars Battlefront 2 fans, me, of course, if you've played the story mode or seen any of the story mode in Star Wars Battlefront, Operation Cinder was basically where the Empire was trying to strike fear into the people of the galaxy, even after the Emperor, was dead. It was an interesting little thing to see there, and a little hint at there, and seeing that Mayfeld, he knows his facts, and it was pretty cool to see there. Also, I should point out here that we saw the return of the shore troopers. Those were last seen in Rogue One, so it's pretty safe to say that maybe Morak has some water somewhere, or maybe it's just some leftover troopers in their armor. That's what I'm guessing. I think it's just that they're overall left over with their armor, and that was the armor they served on some sort of oceany shore type planet, which is pretty cool to see. Moving on, we see Mayfeld. He's pretty good with his sniping. Alright, the cycler rifle, that was pretty awesome to see. He blew it up, and he didn't get in trouble for it either. Now, here's the big thing, and I love, I think all of us love it, the seismic charge. Alright, first seen in Attack of the Clones when Jango Fett shot out that little bomb, and it was just like silent, and then it made that explosion sound. Many of us love the sound of that explosion sound, including myself. Like, I saw it came out the ship, and I gasped. I was like, let me turn up my headphones, and many of us love that sound. All right, it was pretty cool to see that too, I guess. And to kind of finish off here with the episode here, we see with that end scene almost with Moff Gideon. I live for those almost. These last couple of episodes, it's been great to see him. He literally hasn't done anything. He's like one of the coolest guys ever. But we begin to see that striked up rivalry between Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian. Like, Mandalorian knows who he is, and Moff Gideon's learning who the Mandalorian is, and it's pretty cool to see. I mean, the Mandalorian left Moff Gideon the same message that he did way back in Season 1, that finale there. He said, you have something that I want. I think that was pretty awesome of Mandalorian. I was honestly just laughing though. I thought that was kind of funny. It was just a cool little thing to see. I mean, of course, overall, I rate this episode of 10 out of 10. It was awesome to see. I loved it, loved it, loved it. And, with these other new shows that were just announced as well, you can go check out the video on that as well. I talked about that and everything that we know about it. It was awesome to see those. I'm still excited from those. And then, we get a new Mandalorian episode. I mean, I'm just living the dream over here. I think we all are. It was awesome to see. I loved it. It was an awesome episode with some awesome hints, and it really added on to the Mandalorian's character. It was a huge episode for him, honestly, and not only is it the first episode without the Razor Crest, it was the first episode without seeing Grogu, at all. He wasn't anywhere in sight, nowhere to be seen. This is the first episode without him. It was the first episode without the Razor Crest. It was, it felt different, honestly. It really did. And there's just two small little things, you think, and they aren't really gonna, make any difference to the show, but it did make a difference. It felt a little different, not seeing the Razor Crest and not seeing Baby Yoda with his cute, usual little scenes and stuff, but, it was an awesome episode. Loved it. Can't wait for this finale here. I'll have, a video coming out here on some theories and speculations that I think we will see with the finale. I'm definitely thinking that we're going to see whatever Jedi called out to Grogu, and Grogu called out to that Jedi. I definitely think we're going to be seeing them in this finale here. And I think the same thing with Bo-Katan, but I'll save that all for the next episode anyway. Go drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, as it really does help out our channel. Sorry, I just talked and talked and talked. It was an awesome episode, and there's lots to say about it. Subscribe if you're new here, and come join us. It's awesome here, and it's free. You can always unsubscribe. Yeah. Go comment down below what you thought about this whole episode. I thought it was pretty awesome. And, yeah, of course, may the Force be with you. This is the way. Peace out.